Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday to everyone in the chat. Um, wow, a lot of you here already. Awesome. Let's see, we got Angelo, Armand, James Dean, Roger Bennett, Dwight Manning, Emily. Good to see you, Emily. You're early. Sublime 130, Darklight. Let's see, Nick, Stang Driver. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. I'm going to pull this down in just a second. Before I do, I want to just go ahead and tell real quick. We are doing Ozzy Osbourne Blizzard of Oz against Diary of a Madman. Two awesome albums. This is going to be an awesome matchup. And I apologize. I know the voting has not gone up yet for these next two matchups, but it will tonight. I promise. I've been real busy with work, not feeling the best for the last couple weeks. And so I apologize. But the next thing, these two matchups are going to be going up tonight, and you'll be able to vote on them for the next week and a half or so, 2 weeks. Probably going to do something different for next Wednesday night. So I'm thinking about next Wednesday night if I can get it figured out how to do it. I am thinking next Wednesday night that no, no. Next Wednesday night, there will not be a live. As a matter of fact, next Wednesday night, there won't be a live because I have to work. I have to work late next Wednesday night. That is tentative that I'm going to have to work next Wednesday night. If I don't have to work, I'm going to come on and do some drum covers live for you guys. If I do have to work, I'll try to have a video that'll come out that you guys can watch. But the next two videos we're going to be voting on is going to be Motley Crue Generation Swine going up against Carnival of Souls, and picked by the person that's going to be my guest I'm going to be bringing on in just a minute, Mr. John Be Good. He picked this one, Lick It Up versus Motley Crue. So we're going to have Lick It Up versus Motley Crue. Kiss versus against Motley Crue. Lick It Up versus Shout at the Devil. So yeah, so we've got two Motley matchups in a row. Motley Crue versus Carnival of Souls, and Motley Crue versus Lick It Up. So it's going to be very interesting. Two very interesting matchups indeed. It's going to be very cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring me out here. Hey everybody, good to see you. Let's see. Internet looks like it is not looking very good. I have been trying to work on getting faster internet and better internet here at the house. Believe it or not, it's normally pretty good, but sometimes in the evening it gets pulled on, and it just doesn't want to do very well. So see, let's go ahead and let's look at the chat here. Yeah, thank you all the guys for all the well wishes. People saying drink some warm whiskey and tea and lemon. My wife did bring me in a warm beverage here. No beer tonight. I've got some water in case my throat gets real scratchy, and I've got me some warm. It's good to see everybody. I see everybody. There's my boy AJ Zetro. There's Vanderhoff. Good to see you guys. Here's let's see who Turjay William. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. No, it is not whiskey. Actually, it's coffee. It's warm. I'm not really didn't really want tea, so she just something warm. Yeah, warm tea with honey. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would have done that, but let me see if I can get John in here. Where's John? Let's see if John's here. There he is. John, you there, man? Hello,
Hey, how we
John.
doing?
I don't hear you or see. You got your webcam on?
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. I can't see you.
Where is my cam? Or where's
I,
the cam here? I see the mic. I don't know why
I saw
the
you a
cam
minute
turned
ago.
off. Cam mic. Let's see. Camera.
John's got to work. We tested just before we came
Huh.
on, and I saw John just fine. And then I think when we pulled out to to do the countdown, that's when you kind of went dark. So
That is
you
weird.
might You might want to try to come back out. Try to come back out and come back in.
All right, let's do
I'll
that.
pull you out for now, and then you can come back out and come back in. All right. So John's going to see if he can get himself together, get back in on the picture. There he is. I see you now, John. I'll go ahead and bring you back. There he is.
Okay. Strange. Yeah, I just didn't even fully go out of it. I just clicked back and there we are. Hey, everyone. Are we done?
All right. Doing good. So, so me and John, James said Sapporo time or Sapporo time, however you say that. Yeah, cheers to everybody. It's good old Starbucks, or I don't even know if it's Starbucks, but it's coffee for me tonight. So cheers, everybody. And let's talk about Blizzard of Oz and Diary of Madman. We were comparing albums just before we came on here, and I thought I had one of these albums on vinyl, but I looked and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's in my vinyl collection over here or in my vinyl collection that's packed away. I packed some of it away when I switched my room around, but I know I did have this. I do have. I got this. I got the Diary of a Madman remaster, re-release. John's gone dark on me. Get together, John. Get together. And there he is. And I think it's cool. It's got the big cover on the inside, and it's got some pictures in it. It's got a picture with Randy, and in the middle, it's got the centerfold. It's got a picture of the band, Rudy Sarzo, there, and it's got some more pictures. I really like. I'm going to be honest, and you can put it down in the chat. Between these two albums, I kind of favor Diary of a Madman a little more than I do Blizzard of Oz. I mean, although Blizzard has some great songs on it, there's some songs I really like on there. I don't know. I heard I think it's what you heard first, and I remember my Uncle Jeff. We all have those uncles, right? Those uncles that expose you to stuff, and my Uncle Jeff exposed me to this album, Diary of a Madman. The very first Ozzy song that I heard was Over the Mountain. And then the Flying High Again. I heard those two was the very first songs I ever heard. So and I remember, this is a funny thing. I remember whenever Aldo Nova's Fantasy came out, I remember thinking that was Ozzy. I don't know why, but I just remember thinking, because it sounded like Ozzy. And I remember being in the record store with my mom one day, and that was playing they played the records, they played songs in the record store, and that song was playing, and my mom asked me, "Who's this?" And I said, "Oh, it's Ozzy Osbourne." And the guy who works there corrected me. He's like, "No, it's Aldo Nova." And I was like, "I don't know. I thought it was Ozzy." Didn't have the internet. We couldn't Google stuff. We couldn't look stuff up.
Not back then.
We didn't have Shazam and all this other stuff where we just had to pull our phone out and listen to it. We didn't have all that crap. Yeah. Didn't have none of that. But yeah, so I want to, before we get talking into this, this was suggested by George Savastino. I've still got the original thing here. It was in my pocket. So George Savastino, we have to thank for this matchup suggestion. So you were showing me, go ahead and show the viewers if you want what you were showing me before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I grabbed this from eBay. Got a decent deal on it. Let me get out of the glare. But it's a 2000.
Kind of hold it. But yeah, there you go. Yep.
It's a 2011 30th anniversary of Diary of a Madman, and it's a really good mix. If you can't have the original, get the 2011. Obviously, don't get the 2002 where they take the original drums and bass out of it. It's horrible. If you ever have a chance to ever Google it, or not Google it, YouTube it, they do have the 2002 version up there. And you can definitely tell that the drums and the bass don't sound like the original at all. But yeah.
I love that picture on the back where the Madman is apparently dead and Ozzy's standing there all in his garb, like you said, like you showed, and he's got the
Yeah.
upside down cross above his head.
Yeah. And this
That's
is weird because this album has like a gatefold inside. Let me see if I can get in the picture. But it's missing something, obviously. There's two cutouts that were not something was removed. So I don't know what was in there, if it was stickers or something for the 30th anniversary. So if anybody knows, let me know what it is.
mm.
Because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what'd be in there. All right, so let's go ahead and it's about almost 15 after. So let's go ahead and start talking about these albums and talking about these tracks. And guys and gals who are watching, feel free. I'll talk about the panel here in just a second. But feel free to, as we get to stuff, go ahead and throw in your picks when we get to the different tracks. Like I said, my original exposure to Ozzy was the Diary of a Madman album, and so it's the one that I have a tendency to favor a little bit between these two. And I had bought every Ozzy album after this. I think all the way up to the album that had No More Tears on it. I didn't buy any album after that. I don't think. I'd kind of moved on to some different things. But Bark at the Moon, I had was an excellent album. Ultimate Sin, I thought was really good. I remember the Ultimate Sin, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was the album that had No More Tears and Mama I'm Coming Home and all that on it. Um, so that's probably my favorite Ozzy album is that one, even though it's a lot of people's they don't really care for it, but that's probably my favorite Ozzy album. That's the one that kind of hit me, um, hit me the in the mainstream time.
Which one's your
So
favorite?
the album I don't know the name of it, but it's the album that has like No More Tears and Mama I'm Coming Home on it, and
No More Tears,
um, oh, No More
right?
Tears. That's the name
Yeah.
of the album, and that's yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite Ozzy album.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That was out during
but
high
you know,
school, and
but
I
I really
was,
like, but I like.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I really like all the albums from Blizzard of Oz all the way up to No More Tears. I like all those albums. I like all of them. Yeah, everybody's in the chats like No More Tears, No More Tears, No More Tears, dummy. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, what about so me? I favor uh, I favor Diary of a Madman a little more. But what about you? What's your exposure to these, John? And which one do you favor between the two of them?
Actually, my first exposure was back in 1980. It was like 83 or 84. I got Diary first at the record store on a cassette tape, and it was actually when what's the album after that? Bark of the Moon was out at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was sold out, so I couldn't get it. So I got Diary instead, which I'm glad I did. But yeah, I got that, and man, I was blown away. I was listening to that with probably my first Sony, the Sony Walkmans with the cassette player on them back then in like the 80s, the early 80s. You could listen to that, and that first drum roll from Over the Mountain just
Mm-hmm.
killed it for me. But yeah, I like both of them, but I prefer I lean towards Diary just a little bit.
All right. All right. Well, let's talk about the panel. Um, we had 48 on this panel, including myself and John. So we had myself, James Dean, Armand 1972, Grant, Michael Denker, Michael Levant, Sublime 130, George Gotta, Joe Peg, Red Wolf, Hard Rock Reverie, Deuce Man 65, Emily Graziano, David King, Jersey Joe, Tom Tobin, Eddie Thompson, Raven FM, Trey Robinson, Timothy Murdoch, Ryan Newsom, Mick C, John B. Good, Joe Felicity, Richard Hunter, Matt Ucci, Bill B, Jesse Ray, Roger Bennett, The Clarences, Brett Parker, Wayne Kerr, DVG, Angelo Scanzelli, Les Wadley, Dwight Manning, Tony F. Corpse, Dylan Tucker, Aladio, Wendy Tipton, DP, Steve Hardy, John Thomas, Rock, Jason Reiner, AJ Zetro, 75, Scotty Sky, and Andy Locke. So, so we had quite a bit on it, and this is going to be very interesting. I can tell you that right now. This is going to be very interesting to see how these two albums battle it out. Because I feel like these both of these albums, I don't feel like one album is any stronger than the other. I lean a little more towards one because it was my first exposure, but there's things I like and don't like about both of these albums, and I don't feel like there's either one of these albums is like super better than the other. And I didn't know how that was going to reflect when it came to the panel's choices, but we'll see if overall everybody kind of thinks the way I do. So two awesome first tracks right out of the gate. We have "I Don't Know" off of Blizzard, and "Over the Mountain" from Diary of a Madman. So, John, what's your pick between the two of these?
Would I predict or would I pick?
Which one you actually pick? We won't do
Oh, pick.
predictions. We'll
Okay.
just do
Yeah, right.
picks. Yeah, just do
I
what you pick between the two of them.
between those two, it's difficult, but no, Over the Mountain all day for me. I mean that the drums are just amazing in that song. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I picked Over the Mountain as well. I love I Don't Know. I love the solo that's in I Don't Know. But you know what can't be said about Randy Rhoads? I mean, who would have known what he would have become had he, his time not been cut short? Two of the people I think about, or three people actually, I think about when I think about their deaths and their time being cut short, and I feel like they were cut short, not even in their prime, before they actually reached their prime. And those three musicians, it's funny that they're all guitarists. Only one of them is a vocalist and a guitarist, or two of them is a vocalist and guitarist. But Randy Rhoads is one of those people that I wonder what he would have done had he lived, and how long he would have actually been with Ozzy before he maybe
Yeah.
got tired of him and went off on his own or went
I
with
don't think it would
somebody
have been.
else.
I don't think it would have been that much longer. I think he would have stuck it out for a couple more albums. But I heard that they really didn't get along sometimes. Although you know
Hmm.
they were good friends, but they didn't get along sometimes.
Well, Ozzy just hit this. When Ozzy with these two albums and then going into Bark at the Moon and stuff, he was just so reckless. I mean, he was
Yeah.
off the rails. He was just so reckless in the stuff that he was doing. And the other two musicians I think were really cut off short is Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think both of those guys were cut off before they had an opportunity to um, become everything that they could have become. And they're legends. All three of these guys are legends in just a short amount of time that we had them. So it just fathoms my mind to think what they would have been doing if they were what they would have done if they were still alive today with us. But excuse me, going to put up with me coughing tonight, guys. I'm sorry. Um, but I pick Over the Mountain for this one, and the panel. A lot of these are they're very one sided or they're very close. There's no really two ways about it. The loser of this um, matchup has 15 votes. The winner has 32 votes. So the loser with 15 votes is I Don't Know. The winner with 32 votes is Over the Mountain. So Over the Mountain takes Diary up by 1 point. So going into track two amazing songs. These albums like start off with 1-2 punches. Um, so we
Oh
have
yeah.
Crazy Train up against Flying High Again. Which one do you pick?
This was hard, but it was Crazy Train. Yeah, you can't beat that riff. I mean, that's Ozzy's signature song. So, but love both tracks,
Yeah,
but I had to go Crazy Train for sure. Yep.
yeah, I agree. This was real tough. This was tough for me. It wasn't as tough for the panel as I thought it would be. This is one I actually expected to be really close, and it's not. Um,
Hmm.
but I love both these songs. Flying High Again, I remember was one of the first songs that I was really impressed with off of Diary of a Madman. Even though I love the drums and the speed of Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, I just like that groove that it has and that whole oh no, just that whole cool thing that Ozzy did, the way he did his voice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Crazy Train, like you said, it's that riff, it's that song, it's one of Ozzy's songs he's best known for. So Crazy Train had to get my vote as well. So even though a lot of people said it might have some burnout, James Dean said might have some Crazy Train burnout. It is one that you hear all the time. Um, but I went with Crazy Train. Now, what did the panel go with? This one was a big gap. Also, the loser has 15 points. The winner has um, 33 points. Um, so the loser with 15 points is Flying High Again. The winner with 33 points is Crazy Train. Hmm. So that brings it 1-1, ties it up.
Yeah.
Track three, kind of a little bit change up on both albums. Goodbye to Romance. I mean, two rocking songs and then right into kind of like a ballady type song. And You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, which is another one of those songs that it has a ballady type softer feel to it, which Ozzy does in his own special way with both these songs. So these songs are very similar. It's like the same formula on both albums,
Yeah.
kind of in a way. So Goodbye to Romance and You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. Which one's your pick?
My pick is You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. I think that the majority may go the other way with Goodbye to Romance, but Goodbye to Rock and or You Can't Kill Rock and Roll has just got such a just great musicianship and great guitar work. It almost reminds me. A lot of people pointed out that the guitar um, riff or intro or whatever you want to call it sounds a bit like Ace Frehley's uh, Fractured Mirror, similar. So it's a cool track.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Lost you there for a second. You said
Oh,
it. I heard you say you was talking about Ace Frehley's Wipeout or Ace Frehley's
uh,
Fractured Mirror.
Fractured Mirror. The acoustic guitar throughout You Can't Kill Rock and Roll has a little reminiscent of Ace Frehley's Fractured Mirror, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, I went with You Can't Kill Rock and Roll too, just because I just between the two I like the two better, and sometimes or I like the second one better. Some of these where it's real close, what I'll do is I'll actually just listen to one track and then I'll listen to the other one right after it and kind of just say, and if I only had the option to listen to one of these songs, which one would it be? And so You Can't Kill Rock and Roll was the one that I went with. So let's see what the panel does. So this one again it's the same number. The loser has 15 points. The winner has 33 points. That's been the same thing for the first three songs. The loser having 15 and the winner having 33. The loser on this one is with 15 points is Goodbye to Romance. The
Hmm.
winner is You Can't Kill Rock and Roll with 33 points. And a lot of people are agreeing with you on that point. James Dean said he agrees. Fractured is similar. Uh, and so that is a, I have to go back and listen to that. I've never really drew that correlation between the two, but I have to go back and listen to that because I love when you hear something that sounds like another song in a song. I love that. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it whenever you hear that. All right, so that takes Diary back up 2-1, and that brings us halfway through the albums to Suicide Solution off of Blizzard and Believe your pick between those two.
Between those two, I'm gonna go again with off a Diary with Believer. Love Believer, that opening bass, that bum 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 da 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 bum 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 da da da. I mean, that's just so creepy, and that guitar comes in, that creepy high pitched guitar comes in, and it's just and you're just taken away. And then Ozzy comes in. It's just a great song. Never was a huge fan of Suicide Solution. So I'm picking Believer. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to split on this one because um, Suicide Solution is always one of those songs that I've liked off the first album. And I remember it being a controversy. I remember Ozzy came under a lot of fire. His lyrics and doing the whole. Um, I think I just lost. I think I just lost for a second. Um, are you still there, John?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I think I just looked like my internet went really bad for a second, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to do something to fix it. But I think that it had a lot of controversy to it, and with the whole devil worshiping thing, and the upside down cross, him biting the head off a bat, and he had the song "Mr. Crawley" on the same album, and we all who know who Mr. Crawley is, and so I think it was kind of playing to the it was playing to the crowd, playing to the hype, playing to the controversy. And
Yeah.
so I've always liked Suicide Solution. And yeah, there's the story too. Parents of John Daniel McCullum, a 19-year-old who committed suicide in Riverside, California, allegedly after listening to the song. And I remember seeing this special about where this preacher was saying, that Ozzy's saying, "Get the gun, shoot, shoot, shoot." And I remember Ozzy's like, "I never said get the effing gun." And, that was an effect and stuff like that. So who knows? I
Yeah.
doubt Ozzy was telling kids to get guns and shoot. Shoot, I really do. I really do seriously doubt that. Um,
There's two
but
stories that supposedly go into the creation of that song. I guess Ozzy says that he wrote it about Bon Scott, who had just died of, alcohol misadventure.
right.
But then Bob Daisley said, no, I wrote it more about Ozzy himself, his behavior. So who knows? It's probably a little bit of both.
Ozzy was quickly on his way. I mean, Ozzy himself is lucky he didn't die of alcohol or drug overdose. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's a miracle. It's a miracle that Ozzy Osbourne is still alive and with us.
Yeah.
It really is. Um, so, so you went with Believer. I went with Suicide Solution. Now this was close. This one was one of the closer ones. It's not the closest, but it was one of the closer ones. The loser had 21 points. The winner has 27. So it's only a 6 point difference between the two. So the loser with 21 points is Believer. The winner with 27 points is Suicide Solution. So that ties it back up 2-2. So that takes us to the fifth track, Mr. Crawley against Little Dolls. So what's your pick?
Mr. Crawley all day, all year long. I mean, Little Dolls, I never liked that track when I was younger. Now I've grown to like it. but Mr. Crowley, you can't beat. I mean, from the opening or the creepy organ in the beginning, um, and the solo that Randy does in the middle, great song. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I remember my pick is Mr. Crawley as well. The memory I have of this song is the first time I saw Ozzy, and I can still hear it. I can still hear his voice to this day. But the first time I saw Ozzy, Mr. Crawley started playing. The music started going for a little while, and Ozzy, he had kind of disappeared off stage or whatever. And then towards the end of it, it's not come up right to the part where it's time for him to sing yet, but the organ was still playing. And Ozzy comes out and he had his hands spread like this, and he walks up to the mic and he goes, "Let me see your hands," and I was just like, I can still picture that and see that, just the way he said it. And um, yeah, and then he went, within a few seconds, he was into that opening line of Mr. Crawley. So yeah,
nice.
Mr. Crawley is my pick on that as well. And this one was a landslide. A landslide. Only the loser had 2 points. And Mr. Crawley ain't gonna lose with 2 points. So the loser, Little Dolls, but with 2 points. The winner, Mr. Crawley, with 46 points. That's one of the most commending wins that I've seen, commanding wins I've seen in a very long time.
It's a
Um,
landslide.
so that brings it 3-2 in Blizzard's favor. So the next track,
Huh?
number 6, No Bone Movies against Tonight. What do you like from those? Which one?
This one was slightly difficult. I never really cared for No Bone Movies, to be honest with you. I mean, it's got a really nice guitar lick, but the overall song, not into it. So I went with Tonight. Yeah, Tonight. I think it's a great ballad, and you don't really expect a lot of ballads from Ozzy. Um, so I like it. I think it was released as a single too, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought I like the song.
All right. Me, between the two, I went with Tonight as well. No Bone Movies, nothing against it. It's just between these two songs. Like you said, I like that it's a ballady. It's about at this early time, about as ballady as you was going to get from Ozzy. And I like the way Ozzy did ballads. Ozzy didn't like total flake out and power ballad. That wasn't about him. Even when he did "Mama, I'm Coming Home," that was even that is not a. It's you really can't describe that as a power ballad. It's not like "Heaven Is Too Far Away" or you know, it's
Right.
not "Never Say Goodbye" from Bon Jovi. It's not your typical. It's not "I Saw Red" from Warren. Even though those are great songs, I love "I Saw Red." Um,
Yeah.
Ozzy did ballads and balladish kind of songs in his own ways. But this one we went back to like we were. The score is like the first few songs, 15-33. So we're back to 15-33. And the loser with 15 points is No Bone Movies. The winner with 33 points is Tonight. So that ties it up again, 3 to
Wow.
3. This late in the game, with two tracks
Wow.
to go. Um, 2 tracks to go. And it's an even number track, so it is possible to have a tie.
Yep.
We could have a tie. So, takes us into track number 7, which is Revelation, Mother Earth against SATO.
So what is it? Sharon, Sharon, I can't remember A. Thelma, Ozzy. Sharon Allen. Is it Allen? Sharon Allen, Thelma Ozzy. Um, Four names. I mean, that's a great song. I'm gonna go with Sato, or Sato. Revelation Mother Earth, never a huge fan of it. I mean, it's okay, but Sato. Are you still there?
Yeah, I think James Dean put it in there.
Oh.
Stands for Sharon Arden Thelma Osborne. Arden is Sharon's middle name.
Sharon Arden.
Sharon
Oh,
Arden
okay.
Thelma Osborne. Sharon Arden Thelma Osborne. Arden is Sharon's maiden name. She's the daughter of the record mogul Don Arden. Thelma Osborne is Sherry's first wife. All
Yep.
right. So, all right. So, it says Sato for me too. Sato. Excuse
Sato.
me. Sato. Um, I uh, I just like that song. Revelation Mother Earth is good, but I just Sato is one of those songs I just really always liked off of Diary. So yeah, we just call you Wiki Dean instead of Wikipedia. We got Wikidenia. All right, call you Wikidenia. All right, so the loser has 24 points. The winner has 24 points. So there is no loser. There is no winner. It is a tie. It's a
Wow.
tie between these two songs. Revelation Mother Earth has 24 points. Sato has 24 points. So
Hmm.
that ties it up 4-4. Because whenever they win, I give them both a point. So that ties it 4-4. So instead of 3-3, it's now 4-4. So that takes us into the last track, "Steal Away the Night" versus "Diary of a Madman." What's your pick?
Diary of a Madman, for sure. This shows you how talented Randy Rhoads is, not only as a metal guitar player, but as a classically trained guitar player. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that's a perfect way to end the album for me. Love that track. So, Diary all the way.
All right. Diary for you. Okay. Diary for me. "Steal Away" is one of the songs I off the Blizzard album. I'm just not really that much of a fan of. "Diary of a Madman," I remember, was one of those songs so creepy. And just that whole beginning, that very classical. It just, you hear it later whenever you hear somebody like Metallica doing stuff like the beginning of Battery, that
Yeah.
opening, like Lennon, the classical. It's and that da na da na. Before they add the distortion to it, you think that they should have on these big hats with feathers in them, walking around in Shakespearean times, playing their little guitars and everything, because that's what sounds like.
Huh.
They sound like they should be dressed like Puss in Boots, until they kick the distortion, and that's really a lot of metal. This kind of metal, when you take away the distortion, it sounds classical. Um, and
Yeah.
so you definitely can. "Fade to Black." Roger Bennett talked about "Fade to Black." Yeah, that's another one that sounds a lot like that. Um, but yeah, so "Diary of a Madman," I just remember thinking how creepy it was and kind of scary, which I think what Ozzy was going for. So I just think it's great. So that's the last track, and the loser has 6 points. The winner has 42 points. So "Steal Away the Night," the loser with 6 points. "Diary of a Madman," the winner with 42. So that
Wow.
takes it 5-4. So Diary wins by 1 point.
1 point.
5-4. 1 point. So and on our like meter, 90% of the people who took the 90% of people who did the poll, they like this matchup. So that's good. It's good to see those like numbers high. And I know we really didn't ask people to vote on it, but we can do it here in the chat. Uh, which of the two album covers is your favorite cover? When it comes between the two of these, they're very similar in a lot of ways. I mean, I get the same feel from both of them. But which one's your favorite? I know one's more complex than the other.
I have to go Diary, but just slightly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funny because has anybody in the chat or have you heard that story that it was originally the band was supposed to be called Blizzard of Oz. It wasn't supposed to be called Ozzy
Yes.
Osbourne.
Yes, it was supposed to be the reverse.
The
Like
band was supposed to be called Blizzard of Oz.
yep, it was. See how you have it on the screen right now? It was supposed to be Blizzard of
Yeah,
Oz in huge print on the top, and then Ozzy Osbourne underneath it. You know, and they changed it.
right. I, yeah, I think that was a Sharon thing. I think Sharon.
Yes.
I think Sharon changed. Yeah, I kind of wonder how big Ozzy would have been had he not had Sharon Osbourne in his court. Have he would have went on to be as big as he is.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if
lover
he,
or hater, she definitely helped him out. A big deal back then. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I have to go with Diary of a Madman too, just because that don't even look like Ozzy on the cover of that album. I mean that he's made up so well, just the same way as he was on the cover of Bark at the Moon. I mean
Oh yeah.
the makeup that they did on him and everything on the cover of that. Okay, before I get into us what the next one's going to be, I want to talk to everybody about those who weren't here earlier at the very beginning for the next two matchups, but I will tonight, so you'll be able to see those tomorrow. The next two voting matchups is going to be Motley Crue, Generation Swine going up against Kiss, Carnival of Souls, and then the week after that will be Lick It Up versus Shout at the Devil, and we may not be, we most likely will not have a Wednesday night live next week because I may have to work. I may have to work till like 9 o'clock at night. Um, so I won't be able to do it. But if I do have to work, I've got a video in place to be able to play that night that you guys can watch. It'll go live at 8 o'clock, and you can watch it then. Um, But if we don't have to work late, I may since it's this is since we're still going to be voting, I'm going to give you guys a week to vote. Since we do have to a week have to have a week's time to vote, what I may do is come on live and play my drum set a little for you guys, and just take some requests and play some pieces of songs that I'm able to play. I'm not prideful. If you say play such and such, if I can't play it, I'm gonna be like, I can't play that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I've asked guitarists that were excellent guitarists to be like, play this song. They're like, I don't know it. I can't play it. I could learn it, but I don't know it right now, so I ain't gonna try to butcher my way through it. So yeah, so if you in just about any Kiss song, I can probably try to fudge my way through. But it might be fun just to have a time of hanging out and doing some requests. And I want to put some videos out so people like John and people like Les and like Tom Dust and can play guitar along too. So, but the
Yeah.
next thing that we're going to do, and I do know Burning Love. I do know Burning Love, Roger. So I could play some Elvis. Elvis was who I actually started playing drums to. I started playing drums listening to Elvis, and so I know a lot of Elvis. I definitely could play "Burning Love." Um, but we'll see. If not if not this coming week, it'll be some other time soon. So we got the request and beer can or request and beer caps thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and that's a negatory, AJ. It's a negatory right there, buddy. I do have double bass, but no Angel of Death by Slayer. All right, so let me pull out some. Here's one. I'm gonna reach down here in the bottom, dig some of these out of the bottom. This one feels thick. That's what she said. All right.
Oh boy.
I play some guitar, but I can play the strutter opening drums. You can play the drum solo on 100,000 Years for Kiss Alive. I actually can do that. I don't know if y'all want to sit and listen to it, but I actually can do it. I don't have as many drums as he does, but I can do it. All right, so got two here. This is my left hand. This is my right hand, John. So pick a hand.
Left.
My left. Okay, this is my left. So I'm going to read what's in my right. And this will go back into the pot. This one would have been from Miss Emily Graziano. This will go back into the pot though, William.
Sorry,
Fraley's Comet versus Trouble Walking. Fraley's Comet versus Trouble Walking.
That's good.
She says 2 much loved Ace albums go head to head. Not sure about the number of tracks, if it would work out or not. Emily, I'll check that. I'll check that and see if that'll work out. If it'll work out, I'll put it back in the pot. If it don't work out, then we got to have it work out. It's got to be at least close. But I'll check that and I'll let you know, Em. All right, so here is the pick. Wow, it's funny. Is this from Timothy Murdoch? I don't know if Timothy's in the chat. Timothy Murdoch, Turbo, Judas Priest Turbo versus The Ultimate Sin from Ozzy. It's kind of funny. We were talking about The Ultimate Sin earlier. The Ultimate Sin versus Turbo. So let me, since that is one that we're looking at, let me check that really quick. I'll talk amongst yourselves, as the lady used to say. Judas Priest Turbo. Turbo. How many tracks does Turbo have? Looks like 9.
Oh.
Turbo has 9 tracks. That's usually during that time. Let's see. So what does Ultimate Sin have?
It's either 9 or 10. Can't remember.
Ultimate Sin. I tell people to try to make sure the tracks match up. Ultimate Sin has 9 tracks.
Oh, there you go.
So, yep. So this is going to be a good one. Turbo versus The Ultimate Sin. So, yep, good match. Priest versus The Ultimate Sin. And Emily, yours is going to go back in there. Yours is going to go back in the... Let me check right quick, Em. Let me check. See, what'd she say? She said Fraley's Comet versus Trouble Walking. Let's see. Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Fraley's Comet is 9 tracks. I know that. Trouble Walking. I can't remember.
Fraley's Comet is 9 tracks. You know for sure?
Yeah, that's 9 tracks. Well, no, I'm not for sure. No.
Fractured 2 Fractured 2 it has 10 tracks.
Okay. Yeah, 10.
And then Trouble Walking has 10 tracks.
So yeah.
That works too. Emily, that'll go back in the bucket. That's 10 versus 10. There's Stang Driver saying they both have 10. See, I just should ask you guys. All right. So, this is going to go back in the bucket. So the matchups, I'll probably put all 3 of these live, and you'll have a week to do one, 2 weeks to do one, and 3 weeks to do the other. So I'm going to let John, I'm going to let you talk for a minute. We got about 8 minutes left. And if anybody wants to say anything in the chat, I'll pop it up. John, if you want to talk about anything, you can. I'm going to take a drink and see if I can stifle this cough that I feel coming.
Yeah, these were 2 great albums. I remember getting both of these when I was a kid, both on cassette. And like I said, I remember getting the one Diary first, and then I got Blizzard and then I went and got I got Bark of the Moon after that, and I like Bark of the Moon too. I mean, I think I put that down as one of the picks that maybe you might possibly get to. I think I did Bark of the Moon versus um, Van Halen 1984 or something like that. But yeah,
That'd be an interesting matchup. Yeah, I really like Bark at the Moon. Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin kind of came at two. Those two albums came at a time when I was like fully into metal, man. Like I was fully in. I'd kind of Kiss had kind of fell onto a back burner for me during that time. And
yeah,
I remember I was just fully exploring all these other bands because for a while, the only band I really listened to was Kiss. I didn't listen to other bands. And so there'd be people that'd be like, "You heard this band? Nah, man, I ain't heard them." And so I discovered some bands and some early '80s bands after I had kind of put Kiss on the back burner a little bit. I still listen to Kiss, and I was still a Kiss fan. I still represented, and I still went and saw them. I went and saw them in concert all the way up to the Crazy Nights tour. I skipped the Crazy Nights tour, and I started back up on the Hot and Shade tour. I saw the Hot and Shade tour, the Revenge tour, the Reunion tour, the Farewell tour, or the Psycho Circus tour, and the Farewell tour. Um, but I was knee deep into or waist deep into albums that was putting out like Ozzy was putting out during that time, and then all the other
yeah.
bands that was coming out during that time. So that's real good. Those are two real good albums. And like I said, the last Ozzy album that I put really a lot of playtime into was No More Tears. And then after that, I can't remember what I was off doing, but I never really, any of the albums that came out that Ozzy put out after, I never really, I don't even think I bought. Like the album that had Crazy Babies on it, and I don't think I own that. And um, so yeah, I just kind of, the one where he's on the cover and the two kids are yelling at him. He's sitting on the throne, and the two little girls are
No rest for
one.
the wicked, I
No
think.
Rest for the Wicked. Yeah, I didn't buy that.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard the songs on the radio, and I was just like, well, and I'm not saying they're not great albums. I just never. I may go back and explore them. I've actually found out that there's some albums that I skipped during that time, during different times, and I've gone back and listened to them, and I'm like, man, this is a good album. I can't believe I've, you know, uh, uh, not experienced this album for the last 20, 30 years of my life. So, um, yeah. Emily made a good statement, and the Meet the Osbournes kind of reminds me of Family Jewels. You got Ozzy, he's a rock god, and he don't know how to work the TV remote, and then you got Gene Simmons, who um who is this huge rock god, if not a little self-proclaimed rock god, and and his wife and his family treats him like he's an idiot, you know,
Yeah,
sometimes.
those
So
were great shows.
Me and him,
I
we've
used to
been
watch
talking.
both of those.
Yeah, me and him's been talking a long time about doing some episodes on Family Jewels because that's two shows that we really love, and we've talked about it, privately about the show and everything, and we just need to do it. We just need to have us an episode where we talk about our five favorite Family Jewels moments or something like that.
You
And
got to do
I could,
The one where Gene gets married. That episode is classic.
yeah, Gene wearing the footy pajamas, the
Yeah,
demon PJ, yeah, and the demon PJs. Um, yeah, and I agree, AJ. The first couple seasons were fun, and whenever they started getting into the part where they were trying to dive into their marriage and their marital problems, it just got cringy and uncomfortable. It's kind of like whenever you go over to a friend's house, and they may be a couple, and you go over there and you're having a good time, and then one of them has a little bit too much to drink, and the next thing you know, they're starting to take shots at each other verbally, and kind of reminds me. I don't know how many Office fans we have, but it kind of reminds me of the dinner party episode where Michael and Jan start. They just both start getting more and more and more cringy at each other, and everybody else that's at the house party, they can't leave. Yeah, it kind of it reminds me of that a little bit. I'm a huge Office fan, so it reminds yeah. Yeah, and that right there, the part where Gene and Paul accidentally purchase an Australian team, so realistic. Uh, I always love. See, I used to work in movies, and I used to work in production. Um, and I think it's so great whenever they show these people where it's like they open the door and they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm so and so," and it's like the first time they're meeting everything. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
then how did the camera already get in the house? You know,
Yeah.
how is it that you knew exactly what you were going to be talking about, and when you answered the door, you weren't in your no face and in your PJs. You were fixed up and for the occasion. Um,
Yeah, it's so
you
set
know,
up. It's yeah,
yeah. But I mean, they call it reality shows for a reason. That means it's not real.
partial reality.
Yep, reality, alt reality. All right. Does anybody else have anything? It's right at 9 o'clock, and I don't think I need to do my voice too much more harm. I will tell you also that we're record me and AJ. He was in the chat. I don't know if he's still there. AJ, you still there? He was in the chat. Me and AJ and Matthew are going to be recording the In Our Heads season 1 episode 5 uh, episode tomorrow. We're going to be doing that this time tomorrow night. We'll be about halfway through it because we usually talk and BS for about 2 hours, and I cut it down to about an hour and a half. Um, but yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to get it out before. I'm gonna try to get it out before Valentine's because there are some Valentine's related subjects in there. There he is. There he is. Present and unaccounted for. So yeah, we're gonna be. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool episode. And then we're still toying around with the idea. But what I think is we're gonna try to do a season episode, not season 6, but episode 6. That last episode of season 1, because I figured we'd do 2 seasons a year, and have 6 episodes each. And after season 2, we'll see if we keep going, see if it's something everybody's still watching and wants to see. But season episode 6, I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a link out ahead of time, and it's going to kind of be like a call-in episode where if you've got a webcam and a computer, basically just what you see John with his setup right here. If you've got some headphones and a microphone and a laptop or a phone, you can use a tablet. You don't have to install any software. It's just a link you click on, and you verify what microphone you're using, what camera you're using. You type your name in, and then you can jump in on. That's the same way Glenn jumped in last time from Tales of Kiss Geek. He jumped in last week and played some guitar for us for a little while. So I think we just want to have like a call in, have like a party. It'd be me and Matthew and AJ. And then I can have 7 other people on the screen with us at the same time. It'll be crazy, be wild and crazy. And we can have more people on hold. I can stack people up on hold, and we can bring people in and bring people out, and we'll just hang out for a couple hours, and that'll be the episode. That's what we'll do. We're going to have a subject. Well, we'll have a couple topics. Try to have 3 topics that we will all talk about together. So I think that's be real cool. Um,
Sounds good.
yep. So did you see that comment there, John? that we
What's
need to
that?
do a collaboration of. That's the kind of sugar Papa likes. I can play any song on Peter Criss' solo album. I can tell you that right now because I used to play it when I
Definitely.
was a kid. I used to play it when I was a kid. Um, I can play any song on almost all the solo albums. I can even play "Take Me Away Together" as one, the Carmina Peace stuff that's at the end, or I can play
Hey,
that.
I was gonna ask if you could do that song because those drum fills towards the end of that song are just freaking amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And don't forget the Tommy Lee style roller coaster.
Yeah.
I don't have a roller coaster. Like I said, for those of you who hasn't seen it, I know that I've showed it off a lot, and I have been playing it. But but there's the kit. It's literally right beside me. I'm like right here. So when you see me reach over, I'm usually putting my hand on the cymbal. So here's my ride. I set it back up left-handed. So here's my ride. Here's my floor tom. Here's a crash cymbal, and here's a tom, and then here's a tom, and then right there between the two of them is the snare, and then here's a crash, and then back there is the hi hat. So and down straight down here. Let me see. Right here, that's the kick drum. That's the kick drum pad right there where my hand is, and there's a lot of wires. So
Now,
I've been kind of
what kind of speakers do you play through, or what do you play through?
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can put the camera where you can see it. I usually use in ears, but let me see if I can show you. I got to get around this speaker. You see that down there? That's a Simmons 2,000 watt head.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a PA speaker.
Okay.
That's a 2,000 watt. That's what I play through
Okay.
right
Yeah.
there.
Cool.
But I also have on my snare there. You'll see my snare. You see I've got my in ears.
Yep.
Not trying to make anybody sick. There's my in ears right there on my snare drum. So yeah. So and but I do get in here and I play. I've just been getting the muscle memory back. It's been 5 years since I played. And so I've just been getting muscle memory back. I've been going and working out. I'm down 3 more pounds. I'm almost under 290 pounds, getting ready to go under 290. And I've been working out, going out and walking on the treadmill, working out, and then coming home and playing drums and getting in about 30 minutes of playtime, playing different speed songs and playing just playing rock songs, playing praise songs. I'm Christian, and so I've been playing some praise songs too, some praise songs, some worship songs, and just kind of mixing all kinds of different genres of music. I mean, there's some pretty heavy Christian bands too. You start listening to bands like Skillet and Pillar and POD and Disciple and Striper, and there's some pretty heavy Christian bands too, that you can play drums to a whole lot. So um, let me see. I think that's a bot. Let me kill that. If you're not a bot, I'm sorry. But yeah. So but yeah, I appreciate all the support that you guys have given, with the channel and just supporting me on my losing weight, getting healthy, and the well wishes that was coming in earlier from me being sick. And I am getting better. I've not missed any work. I'm not contagious. I don't have the COVID. Um, I've just had this little right in here, and it's just a little phlegm in my throat, and just how when you get that little tickle in your throat, you just got to cough to get rid of it. So you know, but yeah, the support that you guys have given me with Patreon, those of you who support me on Patreon, their names have been going across the bottom there. I do that for them to show them, that I appreciate their support, and then you guys who have been using my my Amazon affiliate links to purchase. I know some of you have made some purchases. You've told me about them, and I can't see what who is buying what. I just know that Amazon will say, "Hey, you earned $1.30 from a purchase, or you earned $2 from a purchase, or whatever." So And that's free money for you guys. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. It's just when you click on my link to go to Amazon and then you purchase something, um, I get a referral fee. It's kind of like an affiliate, a referral. And because I mention it, I advertise it on my during my videos. So and I've got some supporters. I think James Dean, I saw him in here. James Dean is a supporter, and Rex, who's in here sometimes too, is a supporter. And those guys names going across the bottom of the screen there. And I just totally appreciate it, and I appreciate all you guys too. And John, I appreciate you being in this one. I got to get you back in another one soon. I got
Thanks for
some other
having me.
people I want to get into a video. Um, but definitely, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it on the replay, sometime in April, um, or let's see, February, March. Well, most likely to be March because this is February. So March, the March episode of In Our Heads is going to be live. So if you want to be in that, you just all you need is a decent internet connection, and mine is questionable at times. You just need a decent internet connection, a cell phone or a tablet or a laptop. You don't have to install anything. It can run on Chrome. It can run on Safari, and it's pretty easy. Most people used it. John used it tonight. AJ uses it every time he calls in. It's pretty easy to do. It's just a link you click on, and it takes you directly into it. So we're going to do live in March. So that'll be fun. See how many
Yeah,
people we can get back in on that one, John. If you schedule allows you to do it, we're just going to talk
definitely.
some. We'll talk Kiss. We'll figure out something Kiss to talk about or rock music to talk about. We'll figure out something. You get 10 people together, we're going to come up with a topic. All right,
All right.
so that's all I've got, everybody. I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a good evening. Everybody have a good remaining rest of your week, and stay safe, stay well. Uh, Turn off the news and listen to the rock. Turn the news down, turn the rock up, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, John, for hanging out with me, and we'll see you
Thanks for
all in the
having me.
next one. Thank you, and we'll see you all in the next one really soon. Thanks, and see you later.
All right.
How many of you ever wonder if I'm just going to wait one of these days and wait about 2 or 3 minutes and then just come back and start talking again? How many of y'all wonder that? Because I see so many people, they just hang out afterwards and they just wonder if I'm going to come back and start talking. Because I just sit here quiet until the stream ends. Anyway, though, hope everybody does have a good night. I'm going to go and nurse my throat a little bit and relax for the evening. It's 9/11 here. You thought you were hearing things. Ooh, it's the ghost. No, it's just me, James. All right. So, yeah, guys and gals, the six that are left, y'all are hardcore people. Six that are left, hanging on to the very end. But yeah, so I hope you guys all have a great week. I really appreciate everything that you do for the channel, your support in any way that you support. I really appreciate it. And I'm going for good now. See you in the next one.